Hello, winners, and welcome to Two for the Win with your hosts, Nick and Will. This is no more Sundays for the rest of the year without football. I am so giddy. We are going to be talking NFL, maybe even sprinkling a little college, and then just do a quick refresh on our upset picks because we kind of rushed through that last week. But before we do, please be sure to follow, share, and subscribe. Two for the Win. Spread the word, and also want to give a shout out to Hard Rock Bet for sponsoring today's episode. Hard Rock Bet has actually paid me some money. I've actually paid some money to Hard Rock Bet. So already the football season, here we go. Couldn't wait for it. Now I'm cursing under my breath with some of these games. But how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic. Hello, winners. Happy Friday.
Friday. Here we are. So, boy, lots to talk about. Why don't we start a little bit, if you don't mind? There were some big games last weekend in college football, some surprising results. Want to get your thoughts on what stood out to you last weekend?
Yeah, I mean, there were, of course, I'm a Longhorns fan, so I was very high on the Longhorns beating the Ohio State, and that didn't happen. However, I try to have an obvious and fair assessment. I think that, of course, our defense is as advertised. It's very, very strong. We play for one of the most powerful offensive team, and we hold them to 14 points with a crazy catch, like double catch kind of things, but that's football. Over there at their house on opening night, which is the atmosphere is always crazy. So I'm happy about that part. Offensively, I have zero worry about Manning. I don't know what the fuss is about Manning. Like he's not gonna be doing what people think. I think it's gonna be more than fine. It's just that the first half they were paralyzed for whatever reason, and we didn't get going until the last 5 minutes of the game, pretty much when we start literally finding the targets and things like that. I have zero worry. I think that both teams underperform and offensively, and I think that it shows. But it's the way it is. The second thing that I saw was I was very surprised by LSU. I knew they were going to be better, but Clemson, I was higher on Clemson. And to go win at Death Valley, South Carolina, Death Valley, that's pretty impressive. And so kudos to them. But again, it was a very defensive game. It was supposed to be I think the over-under was in the 50s, and it was a low-scoring game. So again, better defense than advertised. Alabama, and you said it. You were not high on Alabama. I still believe Alabama will be more than fine. I think they could not prepare for FSU because there's so many new players, new quarterback, and things like that. I think it played a role that I think FSU played the best game they could possibly play it as well, and I think that's part of they had a couple of calls that I was not sure on against Alabama a couple of times with pass interference that I was like, ooh, not called. And that may be changing the game. So looking at everything, I think Alabama will be fine. But again, you were right, so kudos to you. And then the last thing that I saw is yesterday. When was that? Sunday, when Miami played. The U.
Baby.
I know you played
Notre Dame.
So that was also very surprising to me. I had no doubt that Beck was going to be good. But the defense from the U, again, I don't think that Notre Dame will be in trouble at all. I think Notre Dame will make the playoff. I think Alabama will make the playoff. I think Texas will make the playoff, and I think Clemson will make the playoff. So those 5 teams lost, and that's just my assessment. The first week means little when you play against big competition, but very low scoring game again in general. So I think that it's showing the nerve a little bit as well. But it's my take.
Yeah, no, I agree with all that. I'll just touch briefly on some of those games you mentioned. I do have concerns about Sarkisian because you complained about him last year about how he used the quarterbacks, and I felt there were a few times it was a natural to have Manning roll out and he kept him in the pocket. And I'm like, that's scheming. That's coaching, because he's mobile. Why wouldn't you? Like, I think it was like one of those fourth downs and they're in the red zone, not the one on the goal line stop, but one of the other ones. And it was a
Agree.
perfect opportunity to roll to the right. In fact, the ball was even on the left hash. So he would have had more room to use his speed, roll out. I know there's an argument, well, you cut off half the field, but when you have a mobile quarterback, why not? And so I don't know about Sark. I think Texas has a talent. I'm starting to wonder, is he a championship level coach? They made the playoffs 2 years. I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad coach. I'm just saying, is he a championship level coach? There's a difference on that one. So we'll see. I will say the meme that got me to laugh the most about Manning, I agree with you. Manning's going to be fine. But he had this one throw where he kind of threw it sidearm. It looked like Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. And they showed Manning do it. And then Uncle, let's just say it was not a good weekend to be the last name of Manning. Then they had, yeah, but he'll be fine, I think. Um, LSU impressed me. And that running back, he's like a little stocky stick of dynamite. I like LSU. That was probably one of the more impressive wins. For the reasons that you mentioned as well. Clemson, a lot of returning players playing at home, running down the hill, and LSU came in, and I mean Clemson was up. So I mean, it wasn't like LSU got off to a fast start and took the crowd out of the game. Clemson was up, but yeah, LSU stuck with it, gutted out the win. That was great to see. Michael Irvin on the sideline. It was good to see him happy. I was a little worried about suicide watch with Michael Irvin, and we'll explain why a little bit in that. And what was the other game you talked about? Oh, Alabama. Well, yeah, that. One of the things that made Nick Saban so successful is not only was he extremely paying attention to details, he was a hard ass. And in the South, the deep South, you need an old school hard ass coach. DeBauer, he just seems too nice. Like he fits on the West Coast. Like I think he did great with Washington. And I know you were high on him. And again, I'm not saying he's a bad coach. It's sometimes a bad fit. Like you see talent coming out of the draft, you're like, how the heck did this talent not turn into a great pro? Well, sometimes it's a fit with the org. I just don't. I hope I'm wrong for his sake because he seems like a good guy, but I predicted that wouldn't go well. We'll see. One game, still a lot of season left to play, but eh. But amazing that 3 top 10 teams lost. Now, granted,
Four.
there was a lot of matchups that were all within that. But what a way to start the year already with college football.
Yeah,
Just amazing.
absolutely. And to answer your question about, to your statement about Sark, I agree, but it was said the last 4 or 5 months that they're gonna do everything to protect Manning for the next 2 years and to making he's gonna have some run option, but very limited. He's gonna be restricted on that aspect, and like it or not, that's literally what they said. So I expected I expected him to be more in the pocket, which I agree he should be using the leg, but at the same time, if you get injured in the beginning, you just lose everything. So I think that's their because I agree. At one point, I remember when they were in the 30, 40-yard line of Ohio State, and then he faked on the right, he crawled on the left. He literally could run straight to get the first down, and he threw the ball. It was a little bit too low, and he didn't catch it, the wide receiver. And at that point, I was like, come on, just run straight. And you had like an easy 45 yards to take. But
I
it
agree.
is what it is.
I agree. So before we move on to the NFL, I'm just scrolling through some of the week 2 college football games.
Oh.
Anything standing out to you?
No. Week 2 will be a lot of easy game for the top team. Another team that I want to bring up quickly is Iowa State, who start very well by having 2 very convincing wins against your Kansas State team, but also the second win, it was easier, but it was good. I'm happy to see Utah having a strong start. That's my sneak peek to win the Big 12.
Yeah, that looked good.
Yeah, Colorado didn't look good. I know it was. I watched the game. I think that they were lucky to only lose by one one play at the end with Georgia Tech. I think it was. And then Michigan. I think Michigan will have a couple of amazing. I mean, the two running back that they have are impressive. They have a good line and an amazing two running back. So I think Michigan will be a team to watch. I think they will be better than last year, and I wouldn't be surprised to see those two running back in the NFL in 2 years, like being drafted very high.
You picked Michigan, and you perfectly led into a segment like we had this planned. The only ranked matchup this week is Michigan and Oklahoma. Number 14 Michigan against number 18 Oklahoma. So well done, sir.
I take
Well
Michigan.
done. Yeah, well, I know. Yeah, I was not guessing that one. Um, Two games that I'm going to be watching closely. Iowa State. I've already on the record saying Iowa finally has a quarterback. I agree. Iowa State start has been impressive. I think that's going to be a really good matchup, even though Iowa's unranked. It's going to be interesting. And here's my sneaky, I'm not going to quite call it an upset, but I'm just going to say I got a vibe on this game. Oklahoma State and Oregon. They're playing in Oregon. I don't know why I think that game's going to be closer. Whatever the point spread is, I think I'm going to take the points with Oklahoma State. I'm not saying they're going to win. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see on that one. So there we have it.
All right. You heard it.
All right. So in the NFL, well, actually, there was a transaction that happened. I wanted to get your take real quick. That was really significant that nobody really talked about. It actually doesn't have to do with football. Did you see the Bucks re-sign Thanasis Antetokounmpo? That means we got Giannis this year for sure, and they gave him 1.7 million to be a cheerleader. How do I get that? Why didn't I have a rich uncle?
That's literally. I don't know if you watch European Championship.
I've
It's
been
the
following it on the news, but I haven't been watching the games.
I watch a couple of games. Giannis is pretty solid. Luca. They played Belgium the weekend, so I watched the game. He had a triple double, which is only the fifth player in the history of the tournament who achieved a triple double, and with Tony Kukoc and those older, so that's really
Oh
rare that
yeah.
it happens. But Luca looks so good.
I Googled, I tried to find his workout regimen to get in the shape that he did in the matter of months. I haven't been able to find it yet, but if I find it, I'm following it. He looks ripped.
Oh, he's insane. And then faster defense is his legs are moving very well. Like, it's very impressive to see the difference. I mean, I'm looking forward to see him with the Lakers next year. Like I said, Jokic, he's just unstoppable. And Finland are impressive. They have a couple of 18 years old that are good. Like Markkanen, that's the star of
Yeah.
the team. But I think Finland will impress more than one. And Markkanen is looking amazing with those young players there. So that's really cool. If you want to watch it. It's online. You can probably find on YouTube and things like that. But it's really fun to watch the young upcoming European talent that will be in NBA in the next couple of years playing on the highest level against the NBA players like Vucevic, like Giannis, Luka, like I said, all the Serbian pretty much are in NBA, so French,
Yeah.
so there's a lot of that's very good. But yeah, when I saw the news the other day about I knew you were gonna love it because it means that Giannis is staying. But it's literally the only reason why they do it. But whatever.
I know.
I don't think
So
it's
there
very
was
smart.
one other transaction that got a little bit more publicity than Thanasis re-signing with the Bucks. And it had to do with I loved how Green Bay announced it. They just had Micah with a plain background, massive letters, welcome to Green Bay in smaller font. But obviously people who follow the show know you are a true blue Cowboys fan. Um,
And there's
Obviously you were excited about them heading into this season. So the floor is yours. Tell us about your thoughts about
yeah.
that and how you expect it to impact Dallas this year.
Yeah, so you mentioned at the end this year. So at first I was mad as every fan, like, oh my God. At the end of the day, the situation was so bad and it's 100% Jerry Jones' fault. I'm not going to defend him on this level. He should have signed in last year for 37 million. He would have got for 36, 37 million easy, and he decided to not do it. And now, after, settle down and analyzing everything a lot better, I I do like the fact that if they cannot come to an agreement to trade him. Now we can say it, and I agree with the situation. They shouldn't trade him into the same conference. I agree. Green Bay itself, I'm not. It's not like they traded to Philadelphia, I think, or Washington or something like that. I think that it's Green Bay. I was not too mad about trading to Green Bay, but the two first at first, I thought it was too little because they're probably going to be late. But I'm not sure about that. We're not 100% sure about that. They're not going to be early for sure, but they may be in the middle, and so we never know. We never know what can happen. For this year, though, it's gonna be an issue because we have no time to revamp anything. I mean, we got Clark, you know him better than I do, but I was not. At first, I was mad, and then I think that we can grow with those two additional. We have four first round pick the next 2 years, regardless where they are. We can always trade them up. I think on that level, we still have a very strong. You know, I think the quarterback, Dak, with the wide receivers, with Ferguson in tight end. I think that we're going to be good. We need a better running back and defend the run. So that's going to be again or Achilles heel. But I love our safety, our cornerback that we just resigned blind. So Blind. Sorry. I think that we are not as bad as people think it is after this trade. I think we're going to be in a situation like the Bengals a lot. Like offensively, we'll be very strong. And defensively, we're going to have hole definitely against the strong running teams. But for the future, for the next 3 years, I like it. I would have not, even if I love Micah, I would have not signed him on a 47 million a year. I think it's insane. It's ridiculous. He's setting a new cap, 6 million above the second highest contract ever, other than quarterback. I think it's way too much. I know we can construct the contract, but at the end of the day, that's what they pay him. So I'm like, at first mad. After that, I realized, okay, better. No, I feel way better about the situation. So we'll see what's gonna happen. But I know for this year, for you guys, is great, and I agree that between him and whatever the name of the other guy that I like, that the rusher, it's gonna be very hard to stop both. So you will have to put more in one side, or the other side will have a freeway. So that's gonna be interesting. And it's true, you know your safety are the problem, and no, the quarterback will have to throw faster. So I understand all of that, but I still believe that for me, the problem Green Bay, when I analyze it, it's literally the offense. I don't believe in Love, and so that's just and then I know you have Love on your jersey. I hope I'm wrong for your sake.
All you need is love. You just
I
need
know,
love.
I know. I wish for your sake it is, but again, I love Jacobs, but I know Jacobs. I was a big fan since college and in Vegas, and he was always getting hurt, always getting hurt. I think this time last year he played a season with zero. I don't wish anybody to get hurt, of course, but I think it's going to be hard for him to go back to back here not being hurt, and so I think he's going to miss games. And if he misses games, then Love will have to have everything in his hand. I love Golden, but I do not trust the other wide receiver who are always hurt with Green Bay as well. So the big question mark for me will be offensively. And so that's where I just don't think it's gonna be such a big difference. But it's just my take.
Yeah, I think Jerry Jones is reminding me now of senile Al Davis. The last couple of years with Al Davis, like so many reasons that was a bad trade. Timing. They could have held on to him. Even if he claimed his back hurts and he sits out, he's not going to sit out more than, what is it, 7 or 8 games? Because they got to play, 10 games, I think it is, to get a full credit of a season or be eligible to play 10 games. So, and then they could have franchised him for 2 years. They would have got way more. The trade is not as bad as what people think in terms of the player Dallas got. I sent you that link to some of the highlights of Kenny Clark from last year. And last year, he played with a foot injury all year for an explosive defensive tackle. That's a significant injury Kenny Clark is really, really good. And I mean, he's not to defensive tackles like Micah Parsons is to defensive end linebacker, but he's way better than what people were saying. They're like, oh, he had a down year last year. Yeah, he was injured,
It's true. Yeah.
which is why I'm also saying with Love had a down year last year. He was also injured. He got injured in that first game and dealt with it. When you look at some of the throws Love can make, even with the picks, he's kind of like a hybrid. He's got the weird platform throws that Aaron Rodgers was doing, but he's got a little bit of the gunslinger like Favre. Let him. I mean, our defense, they're going to be shutting people down. I think it's a massive, and who's going to be more affected by Green Bay paying Micah Parsons $47 million than anybody else? Detroit with Hutchinson. You think Hutchinson is going to take a significantly less deal than Micah Parsons?
I
I
don't
think
think so. I do think so because he's a Detroit guy. He loves Detroit. I don't think he will go for the max.
But even if he doesn't, he's going to be getting over 40. He's not going to
Oh
take
yeah.
under 40.
Oh yeah.
Well, and the last thing I'll say is the contract structure does matter because Green Bay gave Micah something like 60 mil up front, which they have in the bank. So they just cut a check. When you look at the contract structure, it's basically his 5th-year option this year plus 3 years, and then Green Bay can opt out. Well, guess what happens in 3 years from now? New TV deal. The cap's going to go up quite a bit. So his contract looks not great right now. By the time it gets to that mark, assuming he stays healthy and he keeps playing like he's capable of playing, I love it. I love the deal, but of course I'm a homer. Of course I'm going to love it. I will say I am shocked that I knew he wouldn't trade him in the division, but Green Bay's a team that's knocked Dallas out of the playoffs the last 3 years. Dallas made the playoffs. We're like your biggest rival, one of your biggest rivals, along with San Francisco, outside of the teams in your division. I am shocked. I do think here's my theory of why ultimately he picked the Packers. He did want a defensive tackle. He did get his 2 first-round picks. I think the fact that Green Bay doesn't have an owner because it's an ego thing. Like Jerry doesn't have to look at another owner and the owner give him this shit ass grin like, yeah, we got you. Green Bay has no owner. And let's face it, Jerry has an ego. He ran off Jimmy
Oh yeah.
Johnson. That is thing. I think the fact that Green Bay doesn't have an owner actually played in their favor on this trade. Who knows? We'll never know, but
Maybe.
I don't know. One of those things. All right. So looking ahead to the first week of the NFL season, some massive matchups. Any games you want to talk about before we refresh our upset picks or talk more about our upset picks, I
Yeah.
should say.
Now we can go. We can go ahead. We can pick some games. I'll let you pick games and we talk about them.
Well, obviously, at the time of this recording, the Dallas Philly game has happened, and we're not going to necessarily talk about the Chiefs Chargers, although I do think the Chargers will win that game. I think this is the beginning of the end for Kansas City this year. Um, I
It's
think
funny
the
though.
other,
We can stop here. It's funny how that's not the we agree with you. We are both on the same page about Kansas City. But when you hear all the specialists, that's actually not at all what they think. They think the opposite. That actually Kansas City is gonna go another dimension this year. And I hear that they are like literally the team to beat. And I'm shocked. I just don't see it. I like you. So
I'm
it's
with you.
pretty interesting. I don't know. Someone will be having to hit their word back or us or them, but someone will be shocked because they all believe that Kansas City is the creme de la creme and next year they're going to take another level. So interesting to see.
No, I mean, we talked about it last week, the curse of the Super Bowl loser. I know our friend Steve will not like to hear this, but they got a wide receiver, he's got a suspension. I mean, their best pass rusher is a year older, and he's on the wrong side of 30. Kelsey is a year older on the wrong side of 30 and, got engaged. I mean, who knows where his headspace is totally. I'm not sold on
I agree.
Kansas City. And how many days we talked about this? How many close games have they won the last 2 years? That's outside the normal range of what usually teams do in close games with their record. They had an obscene record of like 10-1 or something. Like, no, they're going down. I think the national media, one, Mahomes is a superstar, and so they, for ratings, and Chiefs have a good following, so for ratings they're going to say it. But if you really dig into it, I think the argument's flawed. I definitely agree with you. I think Kansas City's not in for great shakes. I think one of the games that intrigues me, just because I don't know, it's the Steelers Jets. Like, does Justin Fields actually resemble a game manager and use his legs? They're playing in the Jets. We both like the coach. I think Aaron Glenn. I think he's going to be a good coach. And then you got Rodgers, of course. What is that going to look like? Especially he hasn't played at all in the preseason. New offensive coordinator. They're not tailoring the offense, from my understanding, to Rodgers. They're sticking with their typical offensive plan. That game stands out.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one, I'll just say, I, I cannot believe the Cardinals are only favored by 5.5 against New Orleans. I think New Orleans has a chance to rival Detroit from several years ago and go 0-17. They could be the first 0-17 team. Like, who do they have? And Spencer Rattler, what's with his hair? That's a weird shade of hair that the brother has. I don't know.
I know.
What are your thoughts?
I agree. I agree. They are old when you see Camara as well. So that's Olave is like always hurt, like like concussion, and he's great, but he's and then I cannot even name more players. Like it's like very very sad.
The defensive guy, who's that defensive end who's always usually a good interview? What's his
Oh
name?
yeah.
But he's got to be like 34,
Yeah,
35.
he's also at the end of his career. Now I don't know, and I like Moore, so that's what I think. They're gonna somehow run a very high speed offense, but I don't know if they have enough for it. So I do think they're gonna score some point because of the coach. The coach is so good for offensive scheme, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But I agree. I have definitely Cardinals winning by 2 touchdowns. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you can't put that line high enough. Like, I might tweak it in Hard Rock Bet. I might pump up the line a bit to get a better payout. I mean,
Where's the game?
it's in New Orleans.
Oh, um, we'll see. We'll see what's
Yeah.
gonna happen. And for your first game, the Jets and the Steelers, I do think the Steelers are gonna win. Um, but it's literally because of the Jets. Like, I don't think it's because of Rodgers neither. I think that the Steelers defense is pretty outstanding, and I don't see the offense of the Jets doing anything. I think the running back is up and down nonstop, and I'm not sure what he's gonna do this year. Um, Wilson is a great receiver, but I'm not sure you know, if Fields will be able to give him the ball. And if he can throw the ball, you will have those safeties or the cornerback who will be there. I mean, I know they have um, the cornerback from Miami. Oh my God.
Oh,
Yeah,
Ramsey.
Ramsey.
Yeah.
And so that's gonna be interesting. So I don't think they have the capability to actually beat them. But I wish I'm wrong because I would rather have Jets winning against Rodgers, not the
Well,
Steelers, just
there's
Rodgers.
always a couple upsets in the NFL week one, which leads us to our upset picks. So we covered them super quick last week. You had the honors, and so you want to just go a little bit more in depth about your upset picks,
Yeah,
just to
so the
refresh.
upset picks already been given last week. We were so excited that we were a week too early. But I will repeat what we have. So I do have the Chargers beating Kansas City in Portugal. No, in Brazil, I think it is.
Yeah,
So I have that, and I have the Dolphins winning at, I think it's Indianapolis, if I remember correctly.
yeah, the
Yeah.
Colts.
So those are the two of my picks. So the reason is I think Chargers will be way better than last year, and they play in Brazil, so they don't play at Kansas City. So I think that's gonna be favoring them. Um, and like we discussed already about Kansas City, I think they're gonna start dropping. But I really do love what what Coach Harbaugh is doing with the O-line, the D-line, even though they missed they lost their left tackle. I think still believe that they have what they need. And Herbert is this year. If he doesn't do it this year, I just lose all faith in him. But I think he's gonna do well. I love the Hampton, the rookie running back as well. I think they're gonna be sneaky good. So that's what I think. And Dolphins, like I said last week, they play over 50 degrees Fahrenheit against a bad team, so they're gonna win that game. So that's just my prediction.
You know what I loved about the thing that happened recently with the Colts? You see that clip of the coach announcing the captains, and he announced Daniel Jones as the captain, the quarterback for the Colts, and the player reactions.
That's hilarious.
I think that guy is gone after this year. Shane Steichen or whatever his name is. Like, that's the poo-poo platter. Plus, their owner passed away. Pour one out for the owner, but so you're going to get a new owner coming in there, most
That's
likely.
The daughter, no?
Yeah, but she'll probably sell.
Yeah, I'll see.
I got a feeling. So anyway, I would not buy Shane Steichen stock if I was investing in head coaches. I had the Seahawks over the 49ers, kind of similar to your take a little bit with the Chargers KC, or I'm sorry, the Jets Pittsburgh. I'm not picking Seattle because I'm high on Seattle. I'm actually low on San Francisco. Like, who are the receivers? Like Christian McCaffrey, yes, if he's healthy, great. Purdy is not a top 10 quarterback. They're paying him like a top 10 quarterback. He is not a top 10 quarterback.
They have your old wide receiver, brother. They have Valdez.
Yeah, who's gotten cut like by 14 since he left the Packers.
The nice thing about him, though, the last 4 years, he had the 4 MVP or Super Bowl MVP. Rodgers, 2000, 2001. Then he had Mahomes. Then he had last year Josh Allen. So the last 5 years, he had.
Now that's a fun fact.
He had all Super Bowl MVP or MVP of the season each year throwing him the ball. And no Purdy? Is it the year that nobody expect anything from Purdy, and Purdy is gonna, after signing the monstrous contract?
No, this is where he kills MVS's streak, and MVS is going to be like, you owe me a steak dinner, brother, for killing my streak. That's a great fun fact. Again, look at you doing the research. That's awesome. I love it. That's a good one. But no, San Francisco down. I took them under and their win total of the year for the futures bet and Hard Rock bet. And then I got the Falcons, Tampa Bay. This is going to be a fun game, actually. I think it's going to be high scoring. You got Baker coming in there. Obviously Penix year 2. I'm excited for this game. This game is going to be my main game. I'll have the Sunday or the red zone on one, but this game I'm going to be following very close. I think it's going to be a fun game, but I think Atlanta at home, I'll give them the nod because Tampa Bay is favored. But this one, whatever the line is, I can tell you what the line is. 48.5. Over. I know most week 1 games go under because defenses are usually ahead of offense at this time of year. That game, I'm going over. You heard it here first. We'll see if it comes true.
Fantastic. It's going to be fun. So those are our upset picks. I have the Chargers, the Dolphins, Will has the Seahawks, and the Falcons.
All right, let's go. So winners, there you have it. College football, NFL football for the next 4 to 5 months. It's a state of bliss. So thanks for joining us, winners. Please be sure to share, subscribe, and follow 2 for the Win on your favorite platform. We're on all of them. And thanks again to Hard Rock Bet. I may be cursing Hard Rock Bet depending how my bets go this year, but right now I'm going to thank them for sponsoring today's episode. So that'll do it, winners. You take care.
Bye, winners.